Hi everyone, and welcome to Inside Bristol. I'm your host Sheridan Nichols, and joining me first is Adam Dye with the police department, and we're really just going to go over some basic winter driving tips. What are some things that we need to know during this time of year to stay safe on the roadways?
Probably the number one thing that I notice when in inclement weather of any kind is people will fail to turn their headlights on, but just because they can see the conditions around them. Whenever you're dealing with fog or snow or anything like that, rain, it makes your vehicle more visible to everyone else. And then, of course, probably the number one tip is if the weather is too bad to be driving, stay off the road unless you just absolutely have to be. If you're driving in snow, your vehicle starts to skid, you want to kind of gently turn into the skid. You don't want to overreact to that and oversteer. And if you start to slide, your wheels lock up under braking. Just kind of pump the brakes and give the vehicle time to reset and catch up.
And that black ice is really dangerous too. And I feel like we do get that in this region a lot that we don't even, we sometimes forget about.
Yeah, you have to be aware of that. Sometimes you can't see it. So you just have to, in any kind of freezing weather conditions, especially when it's been wet prior to that, you just have to drive like it's there, whether you can see it or not.
And what about maintenance, just taking care of your car?
The number one thing would be the air pressure in your tires. That's year round. That's one of the things people neglect the most. But and you want to make sure that your antifreeze and everything, all that is up to check. That way, if you do get stranded somewhere, your vehicle's still running. You've got a source of heat. Anything that you may need, like blankets, emergency blankets, that kind of thing. If you know you're going to be driving in bad weather, make sure that's up front with you and accessible, so that minimizes you having to get out of the car and be out on the highway walking.
And during this time, how does the police department handle this? I've sometimes see special vehicles out riding around and from the police department.
In some cases, when the weather's bad, like if we have snow, we have four-wheel drive vehicles that we can change over into. Some of our police vehicles are actually four-wheel drive. The cars that you see are all-wheel drive, rather. So those officers can just continue in their normal vehicle. Some officers that still have the two-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive vehicles will actually trade out with someone that either is not working or is in some kind of non-essential position that can give that car over to a patrol officer during that time.
Well, thank you so much for being on today and for sharing those. I think the headlights one is definitely something that people forget to do, and that's a real biggie. Yeah. So thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host Sheridan Nichols, and I have Kay Ward with me today to talk about the Reading Buddy program, which is really a favorite in this city. So we need some volunteers and some help, but before we get into all of that, tell us, for people who might not be familiar with Reading Buddies, what it is.
Well, the Reading Buddies program is a community effort to bring our folks together to help support literacy on both sides of the state line, really. It is an effort that we hope to have all our third graders coming into third grade as on-grade level readers. We know that boys and girls learn to read in kindergarten, first and second grade, and that third grade benchmark is a very important step in being able to read to learn. So it's imperative that boys and girls come to us in third grade with those skills ready to take that next step.
So how does the program work?
We have three components to the program. We have the community mentorship program, where we ask volunteers to come in to dedicate and to commit to 30 minutes one time a week with the same child. Build a relationship is what we're looking for. We are not looking for folks to come in and teach reading for us. We're asking folks to come in, build that relationship with that child, make that child feel very special, very important, and promote the importance of reading and the need to read. The second part is a family engagement part of the program. We need our families to be engaged. We need them to know about the skills and the concepts being delivered in the classrooms on a daily basis and how they can support that instruction at home. And lastly, the program helps put text into our boys and girls' homes. Building home libraries is very important.
That's great. And so I'm sure you've got volunteers that have come in with, let's say, a kindergarten and have worked with them for, K for 1 and 2 grades
Right.
heading in, and that really does establish a relationship. What have you kind of seen over the years with this program?
Well, first of all, it's a huge student win. Again, simply that folks are willing to come into our schools on a regular basis sends the message to the child that he or she is very important, and also that learning to read is very important. Many of our volunteers come from the world of work, so they leave their jobs, they come into our schools, and it sends a message about the world of work, as well as educating our boys and girls about career options. We also have seen that many of our volunteers are retired and they travel, and our boys and girls have learned about some really awesome places to visit through their reading buddies. We know too that research tells us that when families and schools and community come together, student achievement is higher. And we are extremely pleased with the reading skill progress of the boys and girls that have been paired with a mentor. We also see with our reading buddies themselves, we have folks who have retired from whatever profession, and it's helped some folks kind of ease into that retirement. It has also given some folks without family in this area a child to bond with, to build that relationship, and kind of be a bit more on the progressive and willing to be involved. It's also given us a great opportunity for folks to come into our schools and see the wonderful things that are going on a daily basis.
And if you would like to get involved, how do our viewers get involved and become a reading buddy?
You can visit readingbuddiesbristol.org, or you can contact me through the school system by email or by phone. I'm the contact for Bristol, Tennessee.
Thank you so much for coming in today and sharing this. It's a great program, and I know that the kids love it and the volunteers love it. So if you're looking for something, definitely contact Kay. She will find a place for you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks for being on. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols, and I have Miles Merrick here today from one of our very favorite places in the city, the Paramount. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
We love having you on, and this is one of our favorite community places to go and visit. So tell us a little bit about the winter agenda.
Well, we got 2019 off to a great start last weekend with Daly and Vincent, who are real favorites, bluegrass and gospel performers who actually hadn't been to the Paramount for a couple of years. So it was great to have them back. We had a completely sold out house, and in the middle of the show we had a blackout.
Oh, really? Wow.
And we thought maybe it was our lighting system that crashed, but no, it was like everything on the Tennessee side of the street. Wow. And what was amazing was the guys just kept on performing in the dark. Wow. Everybody put the flashlights on their phones, and our ushers had flashlights, and they just kept going, and not one single audience person panicked or wanted to get up and move. Everybody was having such a great time. So that's to me emblematic of the kind of community and the spirit and just the joy that comes out of shows at the Paramount. Everybody having a great time, enjoying a live performance together, and Daly and Vincent were great. Can't wait to have them back next year. So
that's great.
I also want to thank everybody in the community who responded to our appeal this year and made tax-deductible contributions to help us keep us going, because that's what really makes everything possible. So If you haven't become a member yet of the Paramount, ParamountBristol.org has all the information, and it's really essential and helpful. And we have such a great lineup of things going into 2019, mainly due to the support that we get from our community members. So.
Well, every time I walk in there, I'm always amazed. I'm just like, oh, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. It's a wonderful asset for Bristol to have such a beautiful Art Deco theater and
the variety of shows and performers, like you said, I mean, that makes it great too.
Yeah.
So it's always something a little bit different and different age groups and just everything.
We try to get as wide a variety of programming as we possibly can and serve the most diverse audience that we can. And the shows now are attracting people from all over the region. We have people traveling in for, from as far away as Maryland and Ohio and up from Georgia and South Carolina to see shows at the Paramount in the past year, and that's continuing. The next thing up at the Paramount in early February, Symphony of the Mountains is coming back after a long absence. And we're very excited about that. They're going to have some classical pianist performing and a great program of classical music. That is on February 2nd. Just to give you a quick rundown of some of the shows that are coming up. And I'm cheating. I have it on my phone because there's no way I would remember it. Don't ask me.
It's always busy at the Paramount.
Oh, by the way, the Cleverleys, who are, a country comedy duo, are doing a free performance at the Paramount. It's free and it's already sold out, but there's a wait list. That's on January 25th, and that's sponsored by Discover Bristol. We have a great magic show coming up. Bill Blogg, who has been on every network TV show. It's one thing to see an illusionist, master illusionist like Blogg on TV, but to see the guy live in the room, like make some guy disappear in thin air, that's like astonishing. And so I hope that, and a great family entertainment too, so I hope people will come out. And that is on February 9th. We have 2 sold out shows now with the Black Jacket Symphony. They're going to recreate Queen's album Night at the Opera.
Oh, wow.
Sold out the first show, even in pre-sale. In the member pre-sale, we sold out, so we had to add a second date. And I think there's a handful of tickets left to that. Those shows are on March 15th and the second show on March 22nd. The vocalist who is performing the Freddie Mercury role, vocals, is Mark Martel, who provides the vocals for the movie Bohemian Rhapsody. So, what's the name of the actor who plays the?
I cannot remember.
He just
his name.
got the Golden Globe.
I know. I was just thinking that.
Well, he acts the part, but Mark is in the back, is the one providing the vocals.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
So we're really excited to have that show coming in. Clint Black is now. You remember a few weeks ago we had that snowmageddon, that blizzard that wiped out everything? Okay, so Clint was scheduled that night, and for the safety of the audience, he decided to postpone until March 31st. It's a Sunday. It's not going to be a Christmas show any longer because it's March, but he's going to focus on his original album, Killin' Time. So the tour is called Still Killin' Time. I didn't realize it, but this album he did 30 years ago, he had like 5 #1 singles. No one never did that before. And he writes almost all his own songs. He does a few covers, but he's just one of the greatest country music performers of all time. So we're thrilled to have him. We're thrilled that he was able to rearrange his tour. And April 20th, Del McCoury, with a little help from his friends. Now his friends include the Gibson brothers, Sierra Hull, Grammy nominee, IBMA Best Mandolin Player of the Year, her husband Justin Moses, Dobro Player of the Year, Dre Anders, who is of Swedish origin but another great bluegrass performer, and Cody Kilby. So all of these people on stage in an Opry-style picking circle. It's like a mini Dell Fest. If you can't make it to Dell Fest, come to the Paramount on April 20th. We have so many shows coming in the spring. We have performances by the Paramount Chamber Players. They're doing an original ballet in cooperation with the Highlands Ballet Company. The Bristol Ballet Company is coming in for performances. Theater Bristol is doing a musical in June. And we have new shows that are going to be announced practically every week going forward. So what I urge the public to do is get to our website, paramountbristol.org. You can find out about all the events online. You can buy tickets online. You can also buy tickets in person or over the phone at our box office, which is 423-274-8920. The box office is open from noon to 6 p.m. on Tuesdays through Fridays, and a couple hours before showtimes on the weekends. So come down, check it out, get involved, be a volunteer, become a member with a tax-deductible gift.
Yeah, it's a great place.
We're having too much fun.
We don't want to miss out on that.
So,
well, thank you so much, Miles, for being on and for sharing so much information.
Well, thank you for letting me ramble on.
Yeah, we really appreciate it because there's just so many good things to announce. Well, we aren't going anywhere, but we'll be back for just a second. Welcome back to Inside Bristol. I have Jeremy Stout with us today. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh,
and we've got a lot
me.
coming up at the Nature Center. So
that's right.
I know Groundhog Day is right around the corner.
Oh, I can't wait. We are, Steel Creek Park does programs year-round. And sometimes we like to conveniently forget that in the wintertime when a lot of folks aren't coming out to the park. But we've got 2 programs coming up soon. We have an Animals in Winter program happening on Saturday the 19th of January. That's happening at noon. And then you mentioned Groundhog Day. That's my favorite holiday and the most important holiday of the year. Is happening on Friday, February 1st at the Nature Center.
So at what time?
It's happening at 4.
Okay. So, and if you want to be involved or come out to either of these events, how do you learn more about it?
That's right. You can find more information on the website, bristoltn.org. You're welcome to call or email us at any time. Of course, all of our programs are free. There is that $2 per car fee to enter the park, but the Nature Center and our programs are free. And both of those programs are going to be a really good time.
And I think, like you said, during the winter months, sometimes we slow down and don't come out as much, but really there is still a lot going on out there.
Well, and that's actually the focus of both of those programs. We've got Animals in Winter. We always hear, oh sure, some things hibernate, some things fly south, but you still might see, squirrels out in the yard or something. So we'll find out about the different strategies that animals employ to survive the toughest months. And then Groundhog Day is especially fun because that really kind of marks the shift of Earth in space. People don't realize that. We think of Groundhog Day as this kind of silly thing comes out and sees his shadow. Exactly. But it actually has astronomical importance, and I'm not overselling that. Groundhog Day is a reference to where our planet is in space and the return of spring. So, yeah, that's all kinds of fun.
Oh, well, Jeremy, thank you so much for coming on to talk to us about these programs. And
Thanks
if you need to know
me.
more, definitely jump on the website. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching today. We'll see you next time.